I was actually just watching a video about sneakerheads. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I don't get it. I really don't get it. There is something that I do get about sneakerheads, but it's not the sneakerheads, it's the plugs. Let me tell you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's take a look at this. So 1 second. Desktop. All right, so take a look at this.
Retail was 200, and I would say like average resale price is probably like around 800, 850. It's Eminem 4. It's $30,000. The undefeated Jordan 4. It's $19,000. I have a guy.
You have a guy. Like
I have an actual guy.
There's a kind of competitive drive in this too, and that's just getting your hands on something that other people can't.
There's two sides of resale. I'm the street. If there's a release going, I'm the guy where you can get it from quick.
Step back!
You know, living in New York City, the average sneaker line could be anywhere from 100 people to 1,000 people.
Sneakers, both the passion and the marketplace, are bigger today than they've ever been. Our journey into the crazy world of sneakerheads. We're at Flight Club in New York City, the center of the resale economy, and we're in the center of the center in their showcase, a tiny room with several hundred sneakers worth over $100,000. This 11-year-old Soho shop is known worldwide. In the sneaker economy, everyone's tracking the latest sneaker drops, happening nearly every week. The hottest of these new releases are snapped up and immediately resold here.
I think by far the most popular franchise is Jordan. Everyone comes in here like asking for them. Like that's probably like the shoe that, or the line that started the entire craze.
I got into sneakers by athletes. It was the Andre Agassi's, it was the Bo Jacksons, and the Michael Jordans in particular. The products were amazing, but it was also the stories, the irreverence of these athletes.
Nike continues to release updated versions of Jordan Classics. So far, Nike and its competitors carefully control supply and demand, but don't reap the rewards of the resale mania.
You'll see that every Jordan is in every sequential order. 1s, 2s, 3s,
4s, the 5s,
6s, 7s, 8s, you name it, we got it. This is our inspiration wall.
Is this an original?
That is an original Jordan.
I shouldn't be touching it.
No, go ahead, touch away. It's an ode to the beginning.
Here and in other resale shops, you can only buy and sell so-called dead stock, unworn and perfect pairs only. What's behind the glass here? What is this?
That's some of the most coveted sneakers you probably ever want.
Is there some kind of like...
They're just sneakers, man. Look, first of all, it's nothing against sneakers specifically. I don't think there's any item of clothing that I would go crazy about. Like, man, oh man, you know, I gotta have all these new Levi's jeans. I want to have them in every color. There's a new Alpine Stars jacket, motorcycle jacket. I'm gonna get it in blue. I'll get it in green. There's simply no clothing. I mean, not since I've been an adult. As a child, I did have something like that, and for me, it was the Michael Jackson jacket. Let me see if I can actually find that. Let's see, open up a new tab, and let's do Michael Jackson jacket. How about that? Yeah. Oh man, they're showing like Thriller. I'm not talking about Thriller. I guess this is taking me back. This was it for me, man. I guess that's a good picture here. Here's a good picture here. This was it. I never got one, unfortunately. But I really wanted to have a Michael Jackson jacket. I mean, look at all those zippers, man. It's got zippers over here, zippers over there. It's got this little weird thing here. There's a zipper around the collar. It's just zip, 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 zippers everywhere. So I was in love, and I would have been so excited to have gotten one of those. But I was a child. As an adult, there's no clothing. I don't care how expensive it is. Suit, jeans, shoes, dress shoes. You know, I got my my Wall Street wingtips. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's just clothing. Clothing does nothing. I mean, now people may think the same thing about us with cars and motorcycles, but I mean, first of all, these are tools. You know, you can use them for transportation. They can get you to your job, or you can get paid, and with that money, you can do a lot of things. And that's on a very fundamental level. Beyond that, there is much more to these vehicles, these high performance vehicles that we love, where, you know, moving very fast and getting involved and being one with the car, and the things that you do. As far as I know, with clothing, you don't really do anything. Even some of these are like basketball sneakers or whatever. People aren't buying these sneakers and spending $800 to play basketball, right? They collect them. They have them in their closet. Look at my sneaker collection, you know. And it's kind of, and if they wear the sneakers, it's kind of like, look at me and my sneakers, you know. And the other thing about it to me that doesn't make any sense is, you know, it's just, as a guy, to be that much interested in shoes. Now, not to get into gender things, but, you know, you see women who are very much into their shoes, and you know, they may have a little more passion for shoes than the men do. But now you have men that are just as bad. They're just all into their shoes, and I really don't get it. But once again, there is something that I do get, and I do appreciate and respect, and I will be talking about that in a second. But it's not these guys who are buying these shoes and have these massive shoe collections. I just don't get it, especially guys. For guys to be this much into shoes. Now, I'm going to tell you something in a second about shoes and when I was young.
In my shoes. And he's like, no, my sister got them for me. I said, I know they're mine. I later found that my and I'm like, dude, which was a basketball shoe. They had the crossover straps. I couldn't find them one day, and I hit the local basketball courts, and a kid was wearing a pair of these shoes. And I'm like, dude, they're my shoes. And he's like, no, my sister got them for me. I said, I know they're mine. I later found that my mother sold them at a yard sale for $2. So I was very mad about that.
Nike and its competitors sell new releases at retail stores like Foot Locker and other stores where lines snake around the block.
That's insane. Let me tell you my sneaker story, sneakerhead story. I did actually have, I talked about a jacket, but I did have a shoe deal when I was a kid. Not that I was into shoes. I definitely wasn't into shoes. But one time, I guess before school, my parents are getting me clothing for school, and they must have bought me a shoe for school or something. And the shoe store had a buy one, get one free sale, right? Normally, my parents wouldn't buy me. That's a crazy deal now that I'm thinking about it. My parents wouldn't buy me really expensive shoes and things like that. You know, they're looking for bargain shoes, looking for the deal. Luckily for me, they were nice enough not to go down to the level. I think they tried to, but they knew I wasn't having it. But anyway, we didn't get down to the level of, we had a dollar store type of situation. And I know my parents tried that, but yeah, that didn't go down. I was wearing my Levi's. I used to wear uniforms in school, and my shoes were, you know, name brand, but they were, you know, the deal shoes, right? I don't know what that's about, but anyway. So anyway, buy one, got one, get one free. So I got my shoe for school, probably just plain black shoes, maybe Adidas or something like that. And I was looking around for another shoe to get for free, and they had these pair of Pumas. Oh my goodness, Pumas! Pumas may not have the respect that they did when when I was younger. But I saw these Pumas, and I was like, man, oh man, look at those Puma shoes. They had these red laces, this really thick red laces, and they were black. I know what it was. It was black suede. It was black suede Pumas with really, really wide and bright red laces. And man, oh man. I mean, for me, that was, you know, like I said, my parents weren't buying me these high-end shoes. So the idea of me going to school in Pumas with those red laces like that, oh man, the girls and everything. I mean, I was just, whoa. But here's the tragic part of the story. They only had one pair or limited pairs that didn't have my size. They were super tight and uncomfortable, but I was so determined to get these Pumas that I went and got them anyway. So I got a pair of Pumas that were too small and uncomfortable, and I bared the pain just so I could be rocking some Pumas. But anyway, let us continue. I definitely want you guys to hear this part. This guy is out there making his money.
A little bit more. It depends on how much money I can make off these shoes. I worked in Foot Locker, so I would know who got what. I would know how many pairs are being distributed amongst New York City and what stores aren't going to be the stores they go to. And with that knowledge, that's something I should charge for.
How much money do you think you've made in total over the last couple of years that you started?
I would say anywhere between maybe 100 grand to maybe 200 grand. Yeah. I've been able to survive without having a job for, a little 2 to 3 years. I gotta go to Kiss and see what they got. You already know.
Another guy making a killing is Jason Hart, an actor who is virtually a pro consigner. How did you get into consigning?
Brought a pair of shoes here one day, and it sold in, 3 hours, and I was $200 richer than when I first bought the shoes. So the first thing that perked my interest, though, was not so much selling it as actually acquiring it.
The more difficult it is to get a pair of sneakers, the more interested you are? Or is that like a challenge?
Absolutely, 100%. I will prepare to get a shoe depending on how it's being released.
Okay, so I don't get the whole shoe craze thing, especially guys, going crazy over shoes. I think any clothing in particular, I just don't think that's a guy thing. Like, guys into clothing like that. I mean, not saying you're not going to like a nice pair of shoes or nice pants, or like you don't care how your clothing looks. I'm not saying that at all. But the idea of, a guy being overly passionate about clothing, I just don't get that, man. And just to give you some perspective, like I gave you the example about my Puma shoes, and also in terms of shoes. So we didn't really have sneakerheads when I was a kid, but we definitely had. There was this thing about you wanted to be fresh, you want to be, looking fly, as they would say, and looking good, right? You want to look good. Now, you're not obsessing about any particular item of clothing, but in general, you did want to have a nice look. You wanted to have nice, brand new everything, right? You don't want to have some old, last year style stuff or something that's ripped up or dirty. The idea of being clean, we definitely had that. And there was a brand of shoe that was definitely sort of, whoa, you got those, For us, it was Clark's. We had Clark's shoes, Clark's suede shoes. And the thing about Clark's is Clark's were expensive. I mean, it wasn't just that, but that was definitely part of it. The prestige of, man, you got Clark's, you got money, man. You got, you're doing things, So there was that aspect where, let's say if I were to have gotten a pair of Clark's, I would have been out of my mind in terms of the pride of, I got some Clark's, man, and I would have probably gotten compliments and props on my shoes. But again, we didn't have shoe collections. It wasn't on that level. So we can appreciate a good shoe. We can appreciate good clothing, but we're not collecting them. We're not waiting outside for them. I mean, that to me, that's taking it to a whole nother level, which to me, I just don't see it as being very masculine. But that's my personal preferences. You do what you like to do. It's a new generation. Things have changed from when I was young. But I do respect this. I'm going to talk about this in a second. This is what I respect about the sneakerhead world, this whole thing. This I can get down with, absolutely. Take a look at this.
Teaching a class on the sneaker economy to kids, the number one consumers.
Why not teach them about what they're getting into before they get into it? So instead of them just going out to spend their money on the retail, Why not invest in Nike? Why not invest in Adidas? I try to give them some facets of math, but ties into entrepreneurship and finance and marketing. Do any of you guys own a pair of Nike Dunks? The Nike Dunk was originally created for basketball with a campaign called Be True to Your School.
When we first heard about it, we was like, a sneaker class. Like, what are we gonna learn about sneakers? We already know, like, when sneakers come out and stuff. But now that we're in the class, we learn how to make money off our sneakers, how to produce our sneakers in different ways. We learned about the backfill rated sneakers.
It turns out sneakers from superstar Steph Curry sell out at retail and are powering Under Armour's profits. But they don't even figure into today's hot resale market, at least not yet.
And someone said that Michael Jordan shoes weren't as popular back then as they are now. Why can't that be Steph Curry in the future? If his shoes aren't that popular now, like you said, why can't it be him in the future?
It's about knowing how to value the investment.
My father, he has every pair of sneakers now. My father is a sneakerhead. His closet, he has a walk-in closet. And
I like this. They're teaching the kids, you know, entrepreneurship and all that kind of stuff. But what I wanted to point out is, you know, if people want to spend a ridiculous amount of money for shoes, $800, $1,000, for some sneakers that's going to go on your smelly feet and walk over the dirty ground, I mean, and do nothing for you other than protect your feet. If you want to spend that kind of money on shoes, you know, go for it. That's, you know, do you. But these guys who are profiting from this, genius. You guys want to pay this kind of money? I'll take your money. You know, I'll take your money. You want to spend $800 on a pair of sneakers? Go right ahead. I will take your money. I love it when I see these guys that are, you know, making money out of this. They're making a business. They buy these shoes at retail and then they upsell the shoes to someone else, you know, at a higher cost, and make that profit. And some of these guys are really, really making the money, and, you know, 6 figures. And let me show you something else. There's another guy who was really, let me see if it's going to come up next. That's not it. There was a kid who was, man, I wish. Hang on one second. I think I know what to do. 1 second. So let's stop sharing. And I'm going to, I know I need a haircut. I'm looking ridiculous right now. What is this? Let's do history. Stop messing up my live stream. Stop messing up my live stream. Okay, so let's go to, 1 second. Somewhere in here is history, because I was looking at it earlier. Maybe it's on the playlist? No. What is going on? I do not see the history. Uploads. I don't see it. I do not see it. Let me try one thing. Live event, playlist. Yeah, I don't see it. I do not see it. And now I've lost the video that I was looking at. Let's see. So there's that video. Sneakerheads. Here we go. This is it. This is it. I love this. I love this so much. Check this out. Check this out.
how's school? Amazing. I like that. I like that.
How's business? Booming. Like, my name is Benjamin. Most people call me Benjamin Kicks or the Sneaker Don. Well, first, I'm just the plug. When I say I'm the plug, I mean, like, I'm the guy that, like, puts it together and makes it happen. Like, I get the sneakers for all of them where they can't get it from anyone else. I supply, like, most of the rappers with sneakers and, like, athletes with sneakers that they can't get.
Repeat.
I have, like, a list.
Yeah.
I'm going to just read off my phone.
Yeah.
How long do we have? DJ Khaled, Ian Connor, DJ Carnage, G-Eazy, Lil Yachty, Son Whiteside, Playboy Cardi, Quavo, Post Malone, Zoe Dallas, Puff Daddy. He bought like 20 pairs, and then I also sell it to the public on my website. This year the goal is to make $1 million.
You think you'll be able to do it?
Yeah. Sneakers started in 5th grade. It was like my mom got me the LeBron Galaxies. And some kid at school, I remember he was like, oh, I want those. Like, I'll pay you for them. I just started getting some more expensive sneakers, like $600, $700, $800. Then I had to like wash cars, walk dogs, sell like candy, stuff like that. Like in 5th, 6th grade, 7th grade, whatever I needed to do to get money. Then when I got a little money, I started to pay people to camp out. Like, oh, $50, just go outside. They get me the shoe for retail, basically. And then I sell it and make money and get my pair for free. I remember Khaled needed some sneakers, a Pantone pack. And then I would get him more sneakers. And then I would just come to his house to hang out. And like one day we were just at his house by the jacuzzi, and like he was just like, how's business? Because I remember the high top Yeezys came out, the black ones. And I sold a bunch, so I had a bunch of money on me. And he was just like, how's business? So I was like, booming. And then he was like, I like that. And then he posted it on Snapchat. And then it just started going like viral.
How's business? Booming. Ben, how's business? Booming.
So we started doing it all the time. Like, how's business? Booming. Like,
Ben, how's school? Amazing. I like that. I like that.
Especially to the young people that want to just start any businesses. Just.
Yeah, man. That's I like that. I like that. How's business? Booming. I like that. I like that. That's awesome. Not only these guys are making money off of this nonsense, but here's this young kid who's 16 years old, and he is so impressive. This is what I like to see, man. The entrepreneurship, you know, the dedication, the resilience. I mean, this guy is going to go places at his young age, to be so far ahead, to have gotten to where he's at. Now, I'm sure, like in many cases, there's more to the story than meets the eye. Who knows what his in was? I mean, he's definitely in now, and you know, with his energy and motivation, he can definitely push this to places. But this momentum that he has now came from someplace, and it might be interesting to know where that momentum came from. For example, is he the son of a celebrity who you know, so he's already in that circle? Does he have, like, maybe his father works in the record industry, and you know, he really wanted to support his son, and you know, he's like telling his you know, he knows like celebrities and tell him like, hey, my son, man, he can get you those sneakers. He's really good. And then he gets sneakers for a big celebrity, and that celebrity likes the service or whatever and tells his friends. Next thing you know, he's got even more clients, and now he's where he's at. I don't know what happened, but a lot of times we only see the end result, but we don't see how they got there. So I'd be curious to know how he got there. But from what I see, regardless of how he got there, what's keeping him there is definitely all about him and his attitude. And it's just very impressive at that young age to be really, you know, doing his thing. And that's motivation for some of you that are young, that are watching this video. You know, here's this kid, probably not a genius or anything, not trying to insult him. I'm just saying you don't have to be a genius. I think more It's more about, again, the resilience and dedication and persistence, that kind of thing, the will and the passion to succeed. And it looks like this kid has those things, and it's led him to success. And why can't that lead you to success as well? There's his Instagram. You can follow Benjamin Kicks or whatever his thing was, and maybe perhaps learn a little bit more about him and get even further inspired. But for the people who are buying these shoes and going crazy in these massive shoe collections, I don't get it. I really don't get it. One of my top subscribers actually made a comment about this. Chris, he was talking about how you can pay more money for a regular pair of shoes than for motorcycle gear. Motorcycle gear can save your life, can save your ankle from being broken. I mean, it's really tough duty, and it's really, really functional. And then you have these sneakers that are just to look pretty. They're not even like, no one even talks about like how comfortable they are. It's not even on a level of like, man, these are so comfortable. Because on that note, maybe I could get excited about sneakers if they actually did something for me other than like what any other sneaker does. Like if there were some sneakers that massage your feet, and it's like when you wear them, it's literally like having a really good foot massage or something, or some shoes that you could wear, you could stand on your feet all day long and don't even move and feel totally fine at the end of the day. No burning feet or aching or anything like that. Then that will be something to get a little bit excited about. Some shoes that actually do something for you, man. Some shoes that look literally like regular shoes, nothing special about them, and you press a button and like some inline skates come out, you know what I mean? Like the wheels just pop out, something like that, then it's like, yeah. But if they're just shoes, they're just shoes. Anyway, you are watching Carlisle's Picks, and I don't get sneakerheads. I really don't get it. On that note,